All right, we are live. Now, let me ask you this, guys. Which one you think comes first? Is it personal development or growthful performance, right? So which one do you think comes first? Do you have to evolve as a human being first, or is basically your portfolio that grows first and then you evolve? Let me know in the chat. Well, we're going to talk about personal development. I'm going to give you my take on it today. We're going to do all that coming up after the intro.
Hey, yeah, it's all about wealth engineering. Might be something that you're not used to. It's okay, cause I'm here to introduce you to concepts. Time to grow and make big moves. All about crypto, come see. Stocks and business, yes indeed. Got the info that you need. Hosted by my homie JC. Hey, yeah, wealth engineering. Stacking and stacking it up. It's time to generate wealth. Till you living like Scrooge McDuck. Hey, wealth engineering. It's time to show you the game. Till you living like Richie Rich. Till you ballin' like Bruce Wayne. Hey, you ain't gotta be an expert, no problem. It don't really matter where you at, just start it. It'll take time, hard work, and
What's up, guys? This is JC, and welcome to the Wealth Engineering Podcast. I create content to motivate you to, increase your net worth, retire early, and build generational wealth. Like, why do I do that? So that you can learn how to make, keep, and multiply money, right? And then we do that by investing in stocks, real estate, crypto, business. But tonight, we're going to talk about a subject that's actually affect everything you do in your life. It's personal development. I'm going to provide you some insight on it based on my own journey. I like to share my financial journey so that we can learn along the way, we can grow along the way to have our portfolio growing, but also being better, be the best version of ourselves, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. You've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail. I'm also going to invite someone on the panel, Mrs. Suzette Speaks. She's going to help me have this conversation. But before we dive on the topic, let me say hello to the chat. RM, thank you for coming here and supporting. Melissa, I know she has a stream, but she dropped there anyway to say hi. I'll catch her replay later. And Mr. Real Estate, Mr. Getty, we had some interesting conversation this morning. Thank you for coming here and supporting the channel. How are you doing, Wally? The Intentional Millionaire, thank you for coming here. Yes, thank you about the intro as well. I didn't know we was in a commercial. sorry. It's you gotta try putting some little spice in the channel, making it entertaining a little bit. How are you doing, Sunbreeze? And let's get into it, guys. Now, I asked a question at the beginning. Which, in your opinion, which one do you think comes first? Let me know in the chat. Do you think you have to grow as a person first before your portfolio grows? Or do you think your portfolio grows first before before you develop as a human being? Now, I guess you could say some people it might be one way and some people might be on the other way, but on the balance of probability, if we're looking at 100 people, what do you think would happen first? Well, from my perspective, when it comes to my own journey, what happens first was personal development. I actually started this channel as a life coach channel, as I wanted to share my journey. As I was doing my financial journey, basically, I wanted to share that with you. And then later, I try to be more focused and centered on around investing. But yeah, for me, what happened was the personal development happened first, and I had to shift from a poor people mindset where I was thinking and blaming everyone else for my situation versus actually be accountable for my own action and take control of only and focus only on what I can control and take my destiny in my own hands. So basically, that's what happens for me. This happens around 2015, 2016. And ever since then, my life was never the same. But that's why it's a subject that I'm really passionate about. And I can go really, really deep on this personal development. But, tonight I'll try to keep it on a surface level for my taste. But I'm also going to invite someone, and actually, without further ado, let me introduce to you Mrs. Suzette from Suzette Speak channel. How are you doing? Oh, I think you're on mute.
There we go. Fantastic. Thank you,
All right, all right.
JC.
I'm like Suzette, but we couldn't hear you speak.
Oh, I was ready to have a whole conversation. How you doing? Thank you
Very,
for having me.
very good, very good. And I want to say thank you for taking some of your time to actually be on the panel and help me have this conversation because I think it's a very important conversation. Often people think about, making money, making that money, but uh, to what end, right? And
Mm,
are you becoming a better person along the way? So I
mhm.
know that you're interested in personal development as well. So I wanted to invite you, and I want to thank you also for making the time for me.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. First and foremost, welcome to everybody in the chat. I won't be reading it. I just started, typing in there while I was waiting, but I won't read it during. But I want to thank JC and the Wealth Engineer family for, welcoming me over here to this channel. I will say I'm still trying to engineer my wealth, right? I
Mhm.
should be watching your channel, right? So ain't no millionaires over here yet. Right, maybe over there, but not over here. But learning to build wealth is a very, very what should I say, critical skill.
Mm, mm.
And I'm glad you have a platform that focuses on that for many of us who are still learning how to do that. And I do think it is wonderful that you saw the nexus and wanted to combine your wealth building theme with personal development because I do believe they go hand in hand. So I'm excited
Absolutely.
for a great conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, for those who may not know you, would you like to introduce yourself? Like, talk a little bit about yourself. What do you do? I see TV host. I see attorney. I see a beautiful smile. Like,
Oh, you're
who is
sweet.
this lady? Who is this lady?
Well, thank you very much again. I'm excited. And again, no expertise except for a little law degree, but thank you, God, for life
It's quite a
experience
lot.
as well. But Suzette Speaks, I am a daughter of Jamaican immigrants. I live in the 305. Big up to all those representing for Miami, Lauderdale, as well as Palm Beach. I grew up, in a very strict but loving immigrant home. I decided, or it was decided for me. I don't know which one we're gonna get into first, but it was decided for me from a very young age that education was paramount, and that
Mm,
I was supposed to just be a high achiever and just push
hmm.
myself to my limits. So I did, and I was an all around type kid. I loved sports. I loved I didn't do an instrument, but I loved chorus. I liked all kinds of things,
Oh,
debate,
wait,
and
wait, wait,
all
wait.
kinds of
You
things.
did chorus? Like, is it like a kind of like a choir or like
Yeah, I
in
can sing.
church?
JC, y'all, you didn't know that? I can sing.
No, I didn't know that. No.
I can sing a little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah.
I can
Nice.
a little bit. But yeah, I enjoy artistic expression. I like
Mm,
movement. I express myself. Some people are, what should I say, kinetic learners, as well as audio or visual. But I express myself with my body, as
mm,
well as I'm good with the written language. And but yeah, so I think if you relate to that, it can also be difficult to hone in on one thing that you like if you are
mm.
all arounder and you're good at a lot of things. So, there's that saying, a jack of all trades, but a master of none,
Yep.
but they don't finish it, which says, but is oftentimes better than a master of one. You're welcome. So we never get that second part, that oftentimes you being a jack of all trades is actually better than if you are just, limited and you're
Of
not
course.
learning new skills and you're not able to do more than one thing. And that has helped me in YouTube. It's so funny, like things that I used to be ashamed of because of these type of misinterpreted sayings, I'm now like, baby, I can make my own thumbnails, I can edit a little video, I can do my little lights, I can do this. i'm
And I
i'm
see the
grateful for
I
all
see
of
the
these.
I
Yeah.
see the creativity in your thumbnails. Like to me, it's an because I remember I joined you on a panel once, and you were talking about you were an introvert, and I'm like, hell no, no way. Like, but your creativity is like, I think I can relate a lot with you because when I was young, I had a very similar situation as well,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I feel like the my creativity is locked in a cage and it needs to be expressed in so many
Hello.
ways, and
My
yeah, and
parents didn't understand that there were
yeah.
careers that
Mm,
existed that could have used those
ex-
gifts and talents. It was
exactly.
just really, they were limited by their own exposure. So I don't
Mm.
blame them. I'm just grateful that they wanted me to be able to feed myself. So what, doctor, lawyer, accountant, maybe teacher, maybe nurse, but that's about it. There were like no other careers in
Wow.
existence. So I grew up, like I said, always trying to achieve and always trying to prove myself. My parents had to work a lot. So, we were struggling a lot. Like, not, I consider myself middle class, but we were probably more truly working middle class.
Hmm.
So, but we never lights weren't never out, thank God, or we never lacked for food. But then I look, and sometimes we was eating. I don't know if Haitians have corned beef. You know what corned beef is?
Maybe
I
not
don't
like
know.
I
Yeah,
mean,
canned meat, basically. Did
okay,
you
okay.
eat canned meat? Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Growing up, like canned meat with corn and white rice was like a delicacy, and I loved it. But when I look at it, I was like, oh, okay, we were probably on a budget for balling on a budget for real.
Mm,
But
mm,
we never felt it. Thank you, God. So, but we did well. We did. My parent, like I said, my mom thankfully came with to the United States with nursing training.
mm-hmm.
So the transition was much easier for her than for my dad, who struggled a little bit. I think due to straight up discrimination and other things to kind of get into the American system, not having a network, if you will,
Yeah.
initially. So we learned, a lot of things. Things were discussed in our, politics was discussed in my house. And, coming from a Caribbean country that was suffering from political upheaval, sound
Mm.
familiar? We discussed politics. It was a
So,
part of
did you
our.
grew up in some parts in Jamaica as well, or?
Well, yeah, I what I did was I was born there, came here as a toddler, but
Mhm.
thank you God, my mom sent me home for several summers. And I
Okay.
can say the most formative ones were between the ages of like 12 and like 16. Those
Mm.
summers hanging with my cousins in Jamaica was like the best. Like my cousins here laughed at me when I came back with like an accent at 12. They were like, "Yo,
Who
why are
is
you talking
this?
like that?" I'm like, I had a whole accent. Like I was so into at the time, Buju Banton and Beanie Man.
Oof.
Did I get CDs or tapes? I can't remember what CDs. I think it might have
Bujuba,
been
because
CDs.
I grew up in the Caribbean too, so I know exactly what you mean.
Yo, that
Them wines.
summertime was so much fun.
Yeah,
We
Sean
didn't really
Paul.
have a lot of TV. We did summer school together and we
Yeah,
played outside. It was
I
like
love it.
play outside, learn the culture,
I,
and it was
actually, I
fantastic.
gotta get
So
to the chat at some point, but actually,
sorry, go ahead. I'm the
no,
talk. Go ahead.
but while we on the topic, I actually want to
Yeah,
slide couple questions very quick.
sure.
Is I ask all my guests the same questions, right? So actually, looking back where you are right now, like remember if you do you remember a time when you were in high school and you were thinking about what you were going to do as an adult to make money, right? And like you were talking about like who you were going to be in as an high school. I know in the Caribbean, our parents can play a factor a lot into that, but were you thinking, like I'm talking about 14, 15, 16, what were your mindset like back then when it comes to either growth or who you were going to become as an adult?
Well, I think coming from that immigrant story, I don't think there was enough latitude. Looking back,
Mm,
your dreams were given to you. It wasn't what you wanted. It wasn't how you wanted to live your life. That was not a concept in my life. It was more so your parents selected a path for you, and that's how I had been raised. Most of my like junior high and getting into high, I thought I was going to be a doctor, or I was being groomed to be a doctor.
mm,
So all my classes, I was in STEM and all these science courses and after school programs and summer programs and all the things that I could do to, get me ready for like a STEM career. That's what my parents, that's where my mind was. I didn't even think, like, one of my best friends in high school, Colombiana, a Colombian lady. She and I were like, if she didn't win a scholarship, I won it, and vice versa. If she didn't get an admission, I got it, and vice versa.
yeah,
So we were like, her parents coming from Colombia, my parents coming from Jamaica. We were like, competitors in a loving way. I still keep contact with her. But yeah,
yeah,
there was not this. I didn't say I thought I wanted to be a doctor. I did. And then I told my mom, I don't know if I do want to be a doctor. And then she politely started to steer me towards hospital administration. So
mm,
it was like, oh, okay, so go shadow the hospital administrator. And she set that up in her hospital and everything. I was like a candy striper. I got to
yeah,
do the reception desk and all this stuff, because she was like, okay, now you want to run the hospital? Okay, that's fine. You can do that too. But I will say, I was always, and I just remember I was in an IB program, which is an international course of study. International baccalaureate is an advanced program for
Okay.
high school. And I just remember, on top of thinking I
Was
was
that
going to,
in Florida, or was that
yeah,
in?
they have it all over England, Kenya. It's like a broad base. It's not
Mhm.
only an American standard curriculum. It's an
Okay.
international. It tries to kind of push us a little bit further. And I'm so glad I was in that program because college was easy after I did that program. But I remember say to my mom, as much as, and you get a specialized diploma, which gives you a lot of college credits if you get the IB diploma. And I remember I was going down to the last edge and I was like a couple points away. And I was just like, because after you take your AP and your IB exams, that's when you know if you're going to get it. So I
Okay.
said to my mom, I was like, I don't want to be remembered for getting the IB diploma. I want to be remembered for like all the things I did at school, which were, my Spanish club and my basketball team. I played basketball in high school. I played volleyball in high school. Like the chorus, I was so much more in tuned with, the experience of being a
It's
part of a team and with people than
yeah.
I
It's
was
like
with the academics. I was always good at the academics, but
yeah,
you can't like deny who you are. So I do
yeah,
think I didn't think about it in the terms of like, how am I going to make money? But I just knew what lived inside me that they were, I feel like, snuffing out and compressing. I was
yeah,
like, y'all trying to get me to be this. But any other good, like, I don't want to say it, but maybe my counterparts who were like Jewish American, their parents honed in on what their skill sets were and then
yeah.
tried to help them find, something
Oh,
to align with it. Instead, my experience was more like, well, you're smart, you are
compressed.
super smart, you are going to be this.
Yeah,
So I
I know
didn't get
what
a
you mean.
chance to really process me and for
Now,
me what that what that would be, except be a doctor.
all right, all right. Now I'm going to ask you this question, and I'm going to read the chat as you think of the answer. Is looking back of everything you have accomplished since those days of high school where you felt compressed, right? Looking back at where you are right now, TV host, the extroverts comfortable in camera, expressing your creativity in any way you can. What would you say is the biggest life lesson you've learned so far? Now, as you think of this, let me go to the chat very quick because I'm slacking on these chats tonight, but I'm trying to make the interview as fast as
Sorry.
possible because I want to be respectful of your time too. But Cashflow Hunter, he says finance comes first, whereas Mr. Real Estate says grow as a person first. You have to develop into the investment mindset. I tend to agree more with Mr. Real Estate on this perspective, but I understand for people one might trigger the other, right? So it's an interesting topic. Shout out to you, Mr. Peter Investor M. Salute to you. How are you doing? Check out this channel, guys. A very good channel, talks about investing, actually also becoming the best version of yourself, and be a great investor and businessman as well. So shout out to you, Uzia Show. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Excited for tonight's broadcast. Shout out to you, bro. Wealth Engineering. Thank you very much. Let me see. I come before anything else because without me, there is no me. I sure. Thank you very for your comment. Let me see, Mr. Real Estate with the $10 super sticker. Thank you very much. How are you doing, Getty? Thank you for being here. And let me go very quick, guys. So I won't be able to, I won't be able to read all
Uh-oh.
comments today, but we won't ask her to sing tonight. We won't ask her to
You
sing.
want a little Mary J? What you want though? What you want?
All right, but hey, I trust your vocal cord that if you believe in them, I believe in them too. A salute to you, need watches, and let me go. Shout out to
Needs
you.
watches. Nice to see you.
Yes, great
I see him
content.
in TLA. I think that's the only time I see him. Come over to my channel though. I'm saying.
Yeah, great content creator. But hey, we need to grow personally so that we can grow that portfolio, so that we can go buy them watches, right?
Yes.
Is circle of life right there.
For
How are you
real.
doing, Lady? Thank you, everyone. Rose B. Thompson. No Asian don't eat that.
Y'all don't eat
Yes.
bully beef? Oh,
No,
excuse me.
corn.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. That's why he was not. Maybe we call
You
it a
were
different
like,
way.
I don't eat that. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's
Sorry.
not. I don't think it's the same thing. Um, Mr. Peter Investor. Oh yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to the Intentional Millionaire,
Hey.
who is, I believe, currently the sponsor of the stream. The Intentional Millionaire commercial fund and wealth engineering support. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Yes, every super chat will actually go back to the channel to help me build and create increase the quality of contents I create for you guys. And again, thank you for the
Hey,
super
Mr.
chat,
Peter and Mr.
Peter,
M.
Mr. Ma, the first member of our community here. Thank you again, guys. So let me go through very quick. I did see a question I wanted to go. Our question: artists are very creative, and yes, from what I hear a lot of common traits you have with artists. But artists are very creative. Which artist form is better identified with your guess? Interesting
I
question.
am. I can just the biggest part of me, and I one of my good friends once called me this, but I am an ideas person. She uses the word visionary for me. I
Mm,
can look at a scenario situation. You could call it like it is what I'm calling as a gift is not limited to like an act. It's like a bigger thing. Like so, if I used to help with different church youth groups. If I see a Christmas play, I don't just see the little kids there. I see the vision for what they're gonna be. I don't
mm,
see, even a person. I see what they can be. So as a creative, I don't know that that matches. If you give me a song, I can already see, no, no, sis, don't do this with that song. Go like people tell me I would be a good manager. I see it. That's
trust
the
me.
best thing I can say. So as a leader, I think people will call me a leader, but I think what I see, like, you can't. I don't think you can condition that. I don't know if maybe it was conditioned by my parent. I can see stuff. I see what it can be
I
from anything I step into. I'm like, they should be doing this, they should be doing that. And it's not a critique thing. It's more
yeah.
of like a visionary thing. That is my gift that I identify with. I don't know what that is called, but that's what
Don't worry, I
I'm
can
good
help you a lot with that. I can because no,
at.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
I'm big
Why?
on like I can see it. I can
Trust me.
see it,
I
but it
know
can't.
exactly what you mean. I can help you a lot with that. Why? Because I've been there before where I didn't know that I was a visionary.
Mm.
I thought when I knew who actually helped me with that was my own brother. He told me, "I
Mm.
think you are a visionary." I'm like, "Yeah, come on, stop it, bro." I thought that this was like this, this level for like only the higher ups, like people
Yeah.
like Nelson Mandela, like Elon Musk. Like,
Yeah.
who am I to be
Yeah.
compared as a visionary?
Exactly.
But I looked into it, and I noticed there is a difference between
Mm.
leaders and visionary. And
Mm.
based on my skills, and that's why I hear a lot of things that I can relate with what you're saying in your journey, and that desire that wants to express itself out regardless of how much they're being compressed, because I've been in the same way. And when you are in a visionary, that's what happens. You have so much ideas and you feel like your own brain is like compressing it from not happening, and it's like it has to get out. And that's what I'm asking, because a lot of what you say artists can relate to, because
Mm.
artists in a way are a visionary in a way, right? They have a
Absolutely.
vision of either it's an art, either it's a music, and then they try it. Their creativity wants to create it out,
Yeah.
and it needs to get out. It needs to be nurtured, because otherwise it could lead to it could lead
It's
to
self-destruction, implosion, of
mm,
course. Yeah,
it,
I'm telling you, if it's a dance, if it's a this, I can feel it. I can see it.
yeah,
Like I said, it can be. I'm kinetic in how I move. It connects me to. I don't know. It grounds me. I guess that might be a good way of putting it.
yeah,
But yeah, I can step into a situation and I already know. That's not
yeah.
what you're supposed to be doing. You're
No,
supposed to be doing this.
we're going to go back on that question I asked you earlier, but very quickly, I wanted to add what I did notice with the difference between leader and visionary
Hmm.
is a leader has a shorter time frame in their visions, and they can focus on one part of a bigger vision. Whereas
Mm,
the visionary has a longer time frame, talking about 20, 40 years down the line. They can see many different things in their vision. So, for example,
mm,
imagine a big company, you see the accounting, you see the law, the department, you see like the innovations, you see the technicians, the workers, whereas a leader can only focus on the law department or the
yeah.
technician part, right? It's like smaller blocks of a bigger whole. And that could be, and depending on the visionaries, they have different scales. Some can do it on a family perspective. Some can do it on a company perspective. Some can do it on a countrywide perspective, and some of them can do it on a worldwide perspective, 100 years down the line. So not only you need to know what that you are a visionary, you need to embrace it, but you need to know exactly where is your limit as far as your skills, and make the best out of it. And I can give you some advice along the way
That's
on
deep, wealth engineer. You over here giving me some good insight, bruh. Because I always, and even as, and not to shift this into the subject, but even
yeah,
as I think about, and on my channel, I talk about some relationship matters and being ready
yeah.
for one, that gift right there, if I am paired with the wrong man, it can become a burden.
Mm.
You hear what I'm saying?
Hmm.
If I'm, I guess y'all say I'm not selecting. If I'm selected by the wrong man, that's what they say. They say a man findeth. Okay, okay, okay.
Hey, these
King
days,
findeth,
these days,
king findeth,
them
king
ladies are proposing now.
findeth.
You
Okay.
never know.
No, no, no. But I'm just saying that can be not only choking to me, but choking to the wrong man.
Mm.
If I have a vision
Hmm.
and he's kind of more limited, that's
Yeah.
why I can't be with any and everybody. This is what I
Actually,
know
you
about
know what?
myself. You
Actually, you
understand?
know what?
What's
Oh
that?
man, let me
We
let me
ain't
let me go
going
to
there, but
the.
I'm just telling you, you know about world and country and globe and 100 years. I know about partnership with it too, because I have to kind of guard that.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? You can't
Uh,
just put that into everybody. That it doesn't align with some people and how they
wh-
want to live and their capabilities. It could literally drown a man for the wrong man.
let me ask you this, because I'm trying to stay within just the structure, but I gotta dive a little bit deeper.
Ah,
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this,
don't
Suzette.
get too deep, but go ahead.
No, no, no. Let me ask
Okay.
you this, Suzette
Hmm,
Speaks.
hmm, hmm.
What do you think about compatibility in a relationship? For example, let's say you're a visionary, you're a leader type of personality, and then you get with someone, regardless of their gender, right? It could have been me, I'm the type of leader, but I get with someone that's more like a follower type instead of the similar type of personality. You see what I'm saying? What do you think of
You
the
say if I
compatibility?
meet a man who's a follower, what's up?
Mm,
No, no. What a guy showed me is I have to be very careful because he revealed this to me a couple years ago that I have the ability to help build that man's vision.
mm,
So I have to really be conscious and listen to what is their vision, God. If they don't have none, you already off the team. But my skill set will catapult. I can't even tell you what it will do for a person if they want it. That's
mm-hmm,
another thing because another person might say again, whatever role they want for their wife might be limited,
mm-hmm.
and they're not going to want that. I have to be very careful with that. I have to be
Yeah.
very careful with that. If that's what they want, it will serve them well. But if they do not want, like I said, I'm not going to be foisting the vision. I will be kind of like listening to his vision and helping to build that. You
Uh,
understand?
and
So
that's a perfect
he has to
segue to
be
that question.
opening it to it. Yeah.
That's a perfect segue with the segment a question I asked you earlier. Based
Hmm.
on what you were looking at, back on those high school days,
Yeah.
with what you are currently, where you currently are with your mindset about relationship, like about
Yes.
personal
Sorry.
development,
Yeah.
about a
Yeah.
lot of things. What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned so far?
Mm, can't run from yourself. You are still you. I had a hashtag I used to use all the time called chase the real you. No matter how people try to put you in their box or to have you meet their expectation, my life is basically um, a representation of how the real you gonna come out regardless. So regardless of again who you date, for example, you cannot pretend because again, those real gifts, those real talents, those real inclinations, those real desires gonna come out regardless. So I felt like I was wearing a mask for a lot of the time, trying to be in circumstances the person that other people expected me to be, a la my family, but at the end of the day, I come back to my same core every time. The core never, I was ashamed of the core because they didn't understand the core. But now I realize I'm like, that's your je ne sais quoi. That's your sweet spot. That's what's going to change lives. That's what's going to change your life. So I think going back to the personal development part of it, if you don't are or not okay with you, not who people want you to be, help me, right? If you're not okay with you, it took me a little bit longer. I had a longer learning curve that, wow,
Mm,
you can't bury that. You can't hide it. You can try to put a bow on it. But, like I said, when circumstances arise, I can talk about my college days, even in law school days. I'm in law school and I'm still organizing like the younger students in terms of politics. I'm supposed to be studying for exams and I'm holding like SG meetings to try to mentor the younger kids on campus for how they're supposed to go. How do you look out for other African Americans on campus? They were very divided. And I got so much more pleasure instead of sitting at home crying in a law book. I was like, okay, I'll come back to this. Let me go have a meeting. And I had all the young African American leaders in line, ready to
mm.
go. And I'm like, this is how it's gonna go. I'm gonna come in.
Man,
I can mash up all of your stuff, and I'm gonna tell you
I
how it's gonna go.
I thought you said we were going to go too deep, and you're going
No,
deep
but I'm just
already
telling
because
you,
what
that's
what
me. That's been me. That's been
what you
me.
said is so true, and I can relate to that. And remember, we were having a conversation once in your channel about all the decisions that I've made since I was basically in my 20s
Yes,
were all wrong. But the thing is, I didn't know they were the wrong decision because I was groomed to be a certain type. To me, that's all I know. Therefore, that's where I should go.
absolutely.
And then the real me is pulling itself. It's actually forcing me into a depression
Mm,
until I get to a point
I can
where
relate to that.
I
Mm,
have to stop and think back and be like,
mhm,
why am I always coming to that point? And
mm,
then I realized, oh Lord, that road is just not for me.
mm,
And
mm,
the
mm,
real
mm.
you will always catch up, and it's consistent. It's constant. The mind always changes. You might want to start a business today. You might want to instead go to a stock tomorrow. You might, go to crypto the next day. But then the core always stays constant. And
Always comes back.
if the core wants to express itself in any way,
100%.
that's the real you. You have to embrace it, and once you embrace it, it unlocks its power, and you can be the best version of yourself. Now, I wanna address this comment very quick. I'm trying not to go deep on it, guys, because we could be for very long. But
Clairvoyance?
I find this. Wait. Let me address this. Let me address this. Um, I find this comment very interesting. And let me read it. To see things when no one can see uh, is called clairvoyance.
Some things you
Now,
gave me
let
deep.
me
Hold on,
ask
let
you.
me think about that. Let me think about
I thought about it because
Okay.
I disagree. Because
Mhm,
there's
mhm,
many ways, there's many level you can see things, and the
mhm,
reason why I disagree that seeing things when no one can see is called clairvoyance is because many of those levels are it within me. So I'm not saying I have some clairvoyance gift per se, but I am saying that I can see things on that level. But I know the difference. I know the difference of what a leader sees
mhm.
because I've been there. I see the difference of what a visionary see on a country level because I've been there. Then
Okay.
I see how that my gifts I can multiply because what I'm doing is I'm running a simulation in my mind, and
Mhm,
that because I'm a visual learner, therefore my mind only understand by image. My thoughts are image, so it shows me the vision and the simulation in a visual perspective. So this is not a clairvoyance because it's like a daydreaming. If for any
mm,
of you guys who daydream, that's
mhm,
exactly how my simulation works. So I
mhm.
can see that. And then I have daydreams, and then I have like dreams at night of the future. We can talk about like a deja vu, everything, right?
The
Like
metaphysical.
I've seen a ghost. Well, I don't know if it's a ghost or a guardian angel when I was 7. So I trust me
Are we
when I
going
say
there?
this.
We going there? Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Again, I'm trying not to go there, but I'm
I'm
just saying
saying.
that I've seen so many different level and layers that I do not agree with this comment because there are clairvoyants, there are also other ways of visualizing. Someone like Elon Musk, for example, is a visionary in a sense that he sees a future and he can describes it in words that no one else see, but he's not necessarily a clairvoyant.
Ooh, okay. So there's two things going on. I don't disagree with some Breeze because I hear her point, And what you're saying is this, you're where I'm hearing you, is that the seeing what no one can see in your definition is more about the ideation, right? Coming up with the idea, right? And this is where I am. I'm like, you can't. I wish I could sell it because so many people lack the creativity of just coming up with that new idea. It's not a no pejorative. I just mean like it's a gift. It took me a while to really accept this is a gift, girl. You can see things. But what is interesting, and I think where Sunbreeze is kind of taking it to the next step, is that because you can see it, and I think Mr. Real Estate has talked about that, you work to manifest it. So was it already in
Yeah.
the future? Or did you build from your ideation it into a possibility? I don't know. I see what like it's chicken and egg to me in a way what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Because you come up with the idea, that's the first step, right? The vision is the first step to make something possible. Now, I don't know that I saw it in the future already, but I
Hmm.
see what is possible. So I think clairvoyance has that feeling of like already knowing something in the future. When I have that idea, I don't know it, but I see it. I just think of it as
Yeah.
the ideation step one. But most likely, the ideation becomes real. So was
Yeah.
it an
I
actual, a vision of the future?
yeah.
Or are you creating the future from an idea? I
I
don't know.
agree. I agree. If we're talking about the ideation perspective, I 100% agree because we have the same gift. Trust me. And that was going to be my next question after I was going to ask you. But very clearly, I wanna give you a random example so that you can understand how broad that clairvoyance can be.
Mm-hmm.
One day, I was in a university, and then I woke up. I went to the bathroom, the shower, and all that, getting ready for my exam, and
Mm-hmm.
then I realized that hey, I was studying in the subway station to all the way to school, and I realized there was a question, the last question I couldn't answer,
Yeah.
and then as
Yeah.
soon as I realized that, guess what happened? I
Mm-hmm.
actually woke up. So that was a dream. And then I woke up and I'm like, okay, exactly what I saw in my dream was happening. I'm like, okay, I went there, the same clothes that I chose on my dream, I start wearing it. But this time I'm like, I know there is a question that I didn't remember on my dream. Just in case I remember what the question was, I read it. I when I was on the subway, I went and looked for it. And then the question, and then when I got to the exam, I put it like on my I went through all of it, and then after at the end I saw the last question. I'm like, oh my god, that's exactly what I saw. And at
Yeah.
that moment, that's when I actually woke up.
What do you call that?
Inception
Clairvoyance.
mixed with reality. But guess what?
Yo.
I actually had two dreams, one after the next. Now,
Mm.
when I actually woke up, I did everything differently. I'm like, I'm not going to wear the same clothes. I'm going to first thing I'm going to do is go study that question and not do it on the subway. And guess what? When I got the exam, the first thing I did is put it on the last page, and that was the exact same question. Now
Wow.
I passed that course by the like razor thin margin, and if I had failed that question, I would not pass. So okay,
Oh,
that's what I'm saying, right? I've experienced different layer, which is different than the ideation. Me, one of my qualities is one of my gifts is I'm very creative, especially when it comes to innovation.
yeah.
That's my strength. That
That's
that
good.
is my strength, and I'm like it's kind of like operating as a problem solver, and it's automatic. Like I don't even have to think about it.
Mm,
Actually, what I'm trying to do most of the times is shut it down because it's so much. Like it's on all the time. So,
yeah. I guess you would say from ground up visionary. So when I see the most basic things, it is like the step by step for how it can become bigger. Like I
mm.
don't know how else to put it. I don't know
Oh,
what
I,
to
I I
call that,
relate
but
with you.
that's what I see. I see like, huh, here's the how of getting us to where we need to go, and this is where we need to go. That's what I see.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah,
That's
but
what
it's
I see.
totally different things between ideation
Yeah,
versus
and that
clairvoyance.
clairvoyance. But you had a little clairvoyance, right? That's a little bit of clairvoyance.
Oh, and trust me when I say this,
Ooh.
I'm just the baby in my family.
Uh-oh. Yeah. No, my grandma, rest in peace, had a lot of gifts like clairvoyant
Yeah, yeah.
gifts. I don't know if
But
I've
but
inherited that
but
as but maybe. I don't know.
but not to go too deep.
I
I
know
want
y'all
to
get off the
Well, I wanted to
What
ask
is
you
the
this
chat
very
saying?
quickly.
Are they with us? I'm like not reading.
Not really, not really. But they're still here. They're still here. Don't worry. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you
Mm,
this. Have you ever
mm.
done a personality test? And if so, which
Yeah.
one?
I have because I've done it for students. I've taught at technical schools, so I have done it. I can't remember which one it is, but I do red, yellow, blue, that kind of one. The color. Do you know what I'm talking about? The colors and the personalities, like a red personality, blue, a green.
Is it like a Strength Finder 2.0? There's a lot of them that has colors
Mm-mm.
as well.
And that is
Was it like
no,
a
it
disc?
is no, it's not disc.
Driver?
It's not disc.
Okay. Was
It
it
is
like
I
16
don't know.
personality tests?
I don't know what it's called. I just know it was the colors.
No.
But yeah,
But
no, I
I,
haven't
I
done any
definitely you
recently.
yeah, I definitely recommend you check out Strength Finder 2.0. It will
Mm.
really help me a lot. But there is a different personality test, which is not necessarily a personality test, but that really was the breakthrough for me to find my purpose and
Oh wow.
understand my strength. I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually trying to get the Getty to make a stream about that. I was hoping it would happen already yesterday, or if not, but we will talk about that and how it's not a personality test, but it's it's something that it's very deep and it can
Mm-hmm.
trigger a lot. It can show you a lot of your strengths and weakness.
That's what's
But
up.
part of finding growing as a person, personal development was personality test was huge. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because it helps you understand and confirm things that you already were guessing about yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
it helps you embrace it. And you
Yeah.
cannot grow until you embrace like who you are, and basically that's how you start. And then now we're going to the next step on who you want to be, right?
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
it's
So
basically
you
the
you have that two what you said 2.0? I'll ask for you to send it to me offline the info of how to
yeah,
find it.
Strength Finder 2.0. I actually
Strength
made a
Finder.
YouTube video about it a couple years ago,
Okay.
reviewing it. I can send you the link. But yeah,
Thank you.
but I bet if you do it, we'll have certain personalities that match. Uh,
Okay, okay. I'd be happy to. I'm curious now. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So the way it works, it gives you a result, and then by the time you find someone else that had the exact same result as you might go to 33 million people. So it's
Wow.
very unique and niche to you. One out of 33 million can have the arrangement that they'll show you. And
Wow.
I bet in the top five characteristic we may have a lot
You're
similar.
probably the same.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
let me ask you this. I know you are interested in personal development, and especially with what you've shared with us so far, with how you had to break through and be the real you to come out. What would you say? How did you get interested in personal development in general?
I think I've always been kind of intuitive and curious about people. I'm probably green. So I can't remember which one.
I think it's probably
It
your
was
shirt.
prior to COVID. I
Your
can't
shirt
remember.
was the dead giveaway.
Right? I was like, no, I wore the green for the money. That's why I wore the money. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wear the money green. So I was like, let me go ahead
Nice,
and use
nice.
this. But I think from an early age, I was always just like I'm very intuitive when it comes to what motivates people. I'm very big on that.
Hmm.
So even as a young person involved, say, in student government and things like this, my natural inclination is to kind of figure out what motivates them to do what they're doing and therefore, deliver so that I can get um the outcome that, my party or whatever wanted. So that has always been like what motivates people and why people act like certain, ways. And I think I probably going into college, I started to see that there were patterns of behavior among people. So I think people who grow up a certain type of way tend to, not always, there are always exceptions, but tend to have certain, pathologies, certain idiosyncrasies, certain, strangeness, if you want to call it that. And, just similarities is what I
Mhm.
started to realize. And I thought, it's not, I was always taught that, you never judge a book by their cover, but I started to judge. I started to see that for most part, there are, broad experiences that make people, very similar. And that unfortunately, they do imprint on us. And for good or for bad, we get, a certain result in terms of our thinking and our behavior. So I also more formally started to really delve deep into personal development when I went through a very difficult part of my, I wouldn't call it career, I would just call it my life, where
Yeah.
I felt like I was stuck being a lawyer. And I know that sounds very, very, flippant, but it
What you
doesn't.
wanted? I know. I'm
Yeah,
joking.
I'm not, no, my parents wanted,
I know. I know. I
let's
know.
be real. Let's be real. So yeah, I can tell that story, but I want to get, people have heard it, but
Yeah.
within my own family, we have tons of attorneys. We have
Mm.
several medical doctors. We have dentists. And I'm talking about my generation, the people who got here and
Wow.
either got the privilege of you
Okay.
coming or are born here. This second generation, we blew it out the water. So there's a lot of social pressure to be, quote, successful. But I think
Yeah.
what I realized, probably about 5, 6 years ago, when I was, in the throes of, the corporate climb or, at a big firm and thought I was doing well, making what I wanted to make, had some of the privileges of, having a decent income, I started
Mm.
to realize I wasn't happy. I started to realize I was actually quite lonely and quite sad. And I didn't have the, friendship circles. I've said, I have a big family, so usually my cousins are my friends.
Mm.
And some of them had moved away, they had started families, etc. So when people are entering different stages of life than you, and you seem to kind of look around and see, am I happy with what I am and who I am and what I have? And I could honestly say no. So I started down a path of real sadness, first and foremost,
Yeah.
and then trying to seek an answer. Like I didn't understand that probably therapy would have been, I wish I had gotten therapy
Mm.
early, early, early on, because I think it would have saved me a lot of tears and a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of heartache. But I didn't
Okay.
even have the concept for that. Winning women didn't do therapy, like women who were all together. I'd be like, I'm the type of woman, I'm like, I give such good advice. Why I can't give myself such good advice sometimes? It's ironic sometimes
Y-
how the strong
Yeah.
friend, the person who always has it together, the one that the family always calls on, the person
Yeah.
that saves the day, no one checks on them and no one really sees, how you doing, sis. So I was
Yeah.
one of those who were kind of like you, I don't want to even call it a victim, but a product of your own quote success. Well, at least the formula that was given to you. And then I realized, again, going back to chase the real you, I could not be, content with living my life as a shadow of myself. And
Mm.
so I started to dig a little deeper. I started to listen to a lot more podcasts, read a lot more books, tried to write a book. But I think it was actually cathartic for me. I don't know. I was like, God, do you really want me to publish this? This was, I was encouraging women like, I'm going to leave law. I'm going to step away from what everyone else says is like the most desirable thing in the world and say, no, it's not. I have other, you know, um, things that need to be expressed and be birthed. So
Absolutely.
I was very, very, like I said, trying to seek answers and trying to find people who actually felt like I did. So I started my own meetup group. I started my own meetup group at the
Right.
time to try to seek out other women. I'm like, I can't be the only person that can't find friends as an adult. It's like hard to find real friendships outside of work while you're adulting. It's hard to meet people down here anyway because South Florida is a transient type place and we all stay in our houses. We don't really come out unless we have to go
Really?
to an
I
event.
mean, with the heat and all.
We come out, but it ain't socializing like on a level where you get to like really meet people and sometimes connect and find like-minded people at every event. Sometimes you just gonna find the party people. Sometimes you're gonna find the other people. They got families, whatever, whatever. So, I did this in a shameless way of trying to make friends with people and say, hey, are you guys feeling like this?
Networking.
So it birthed a ministry of sorts. A meetup group turned into seminars and workshops where I started inviting more formal presentations to be made by clinicians, psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health coaches, eating disorder coaches, all kinds of people in realms that I needed help in.
Help with.
And I
Okay.
would pick a topic. I'd have a professional, I love to moderate. So I would moderate my own. I'm talking about seminars from like 25 to 50 people and charge for them, have a little food and a little conversation and get deep. But what I realized is it was really helping me. I said to people, y'all think I would say as I open, you guys think this is for you, but this is actually for me as
And I
well.
think that's the best type of transaction where both parties are gaining along the way. To be honest with you, I agree. And one of these, like this YouTube channel for me, is a way to express myself and to help me in a way as I'm also sharing provide a value to as many people as I can along the way. So that's the best type of transaction. So, but very quickly, I wanted to go to say another shout out to the sponsors of this stream, Mr. Peter Investor M, Mr. Ozia Show, Mr. Real Estate, and the current sponsor of the stream, the Intentional Millionaire. Thank you again for your super chat. Now let me ask you this, Suzette, and I know you try not to go too deep tonight, but I think this is a question that needs to be asked, and you can answer it as much as comfortable you're willing to dive into it. But
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
sometimes, as I observe people's growth, this is a common theme that I notice, that sometimes before you climb the levels, right, you want to level up before you climb those levels. Often life brings you down to the point where you realize that, okay, you need to climb up if you want to stay, so if you want to be alive and survive and thrive. So
Yeah.
for you, in your, I mean, so far in your life, what was that moment for you? And I think you alluded in a way, but I was wondering if you could elaborate more into that. What was that moment for you where you hit a bottom and you're like, okay, I need to start changing and growing as a person so that I can get to either the next level or next growth? And again, as comfortable as you're willing
No, I'm
to.
thinking about two, man. I was like, thank you for asking that because there were two major times in my life that I don't know if I hit rock bottom, so to speak, financially, but more rock bottom on a social as well as emotional and psychological space. Where the first one was when I decided to leave the big firm environment because I was, oh my gosh, I used to like just thinking about even being in that law firm, my last law firm, um, the fakery it took to kind of go through the daily activities and the motions. It was just the most difficult time. But what I want to express is that, you know, a lot of people can go through this and really look like they got it all together. And I was one of those folks. Thank you, Dr. Dre Terry. I thought I said Dr. Terry. Okay, Dre Terry. I would hold the staff meeting. I would, you know, train the new attorneys. I would do this, but I secretly like hated the people that were there. And I don't mean hate as in a personalized hate, but like a generalized dislike of this ain't my full expression. I'm gonna die with so much inside me. This is gonna be unfair
Mm,
to me. So I think I remember sitting in my car, you know, sleeping during lunch. Like I was trying to escape. I was really trying to escape as much as I could. Like many people, you escape in food as well. And other ways that I was like, I was never this person. I was like, I was never this person. Who is this person? But it was, it was, it was a time where I just remember, and I've talked about this before, you know, really I had always had this kind of religious overlay to my thinking when it came to honoring your parents, when it came to, I don't know, just being obedient, if you will, to, I don't know what, I think that translated for me in work, for me anyway. And I just remember that particular season brought me to a head with God and going to church. And church actually saved me because I felt like I was like dying inside. So again, I was like, I don't know anything else. I'll go to church all the time. I will, you know, be a part of every ministry that I can. And again, camouflage, cover up, bury what I'm really feeling instead of dealing with the reality that I don't really like my life right now. And I really don't like my career. And I don't know how I'm going to get my money back for this law degree, but it's going to be, you know, something I must face that, oh my gosh, this is my life. So long story short, then I honestly went to church and I remember this day clearly, mad, walking into the building like, God, you better tell me why you gave me this law degree. You better tell me why I am an attorney when I feel like an imposter in my own firm. I feel like, you know, I'm not fully again expressed. I feel like I'm dying. So I remember going to church and I remember praying and crying. I'm talking about one of them hallelujah praise and cries, like, show me, God, what I'm supposed to be doing. And I remember about to leave, and a gentleman, Reggie, big up Reggie, who was a part of the media ministry. had given me a flyer and was like, hey, we have a news and media ministry, would you want to try out for it? And I was kind of like, what? Like, I wasn't even there. I wasn't even there. I was kind of more thinking about life and what I was going to do to save myself, but not feeling like I really could. Long story short, I got involved in that media ministry and it literally saved my life because I felt like I was finally able in a one pocket of my life to express myself through church. Like we did, voiceovers, radio commercials, like in sound booths, learned green screen, learned to read teleprompters. A lady who was over that ministry was actually from a local news station. So once I got a taste of this, I was like, oh my God, what is this? What is this? And long story short, a lady from a local news station saw me do the um, the broadcast announcements one Sunday and was like, "You should really try out. We're a host is leaving." And it was Trinity Broadcast Network. And she was like, "You'd be wonderful. Would you mind coming over?" And I was like, I'm telling you, I was like in the doldrums. God had to have sent that lady because I thought, I don't know. I can't eat myself to death. I can't sleep myself to death. I cannot cry myself to death. There has to be a way for me to actually like make sense of this. So, long story short, I didn't even have a headshot. My cousin took my my picture against her dining room wall. My baby cousin helped me put a little resume together, and I did a screen test, a live show screen test in front of a studio audience, and it went so well. They sent it to the headquarters, which was California, or I think it still is. And California was like, "Yeah, we'd like to hire you, but mind you, I'm an attorney." So I had to come up with and they thank God for compromise. I was like, listen, I can take a day or two off a month and do a day of shooting shows, and they were down for it. So I was literally, I felt like I was sneaking. I didn't want nobody, people started seeing me on TV, that was my problem, but I didn't want nobody in my law job to know about this other side. I felt like I was living some kind of like clandestine life. I don't know why, but I was like, I gotta be the lawyer here, and then I can really be fun and just enjoy myself when I'm over here doing what I really like. So that was one big pivot. It was scary because again, everybody has judgment. Everybody wants to know, you a lawyer, you supposed to be this and that. I remember saying in law school, I'm probably not going to use my degree. I remember saying that freshman year, first semester, honestly. I was like, I'm getting this from my parents. I remember saying that. But it wasn't like I felt brave enough yet to admit it out loud and fully walk that way. I wasn't there. I was kind of sneaking into my destiny and making myself, more of me and
Mm,
allowing me to have some more breathing room. So I think that was a big wake up call, and that started my personal development company, if you will. And I think later on, when I tried to leave the firm and start my own, it was a big wake up call when I had to figure out, like, oh my God, entrepreneurs work twice, three times as hard as people who have employment of someone else. So that was another, I think, big misstep. I should have been, hustling, trying to see how I can get deeper into media and communications. And instead, again, not wanting to disappoint, not wanting to let go of the external, facade of this is such a prestigious career and anybody would want it, and your parents sacrificed so much to come here, you better just love it. All of that part of me just felt so tied into this identity. And when I finally was like, heck no, if I don't find an area of law that I can do my other stuff with, this about to be a problem. So a couple years ago, a few years now, it prompted me to say, okay, do you want to give this up? You're going to close this firm. At the time, I had a title company. I was like, you're going to close this. How are you going to transition? Are you going to cold turkey and just figure out life? I heard in my spirit, God said, don't close it. Try to find something else. And I transitioned into personal injury, started doing CEUs and continuing education and shadowing certain things and, whatever, picking up those skills. I was like, all right, God didn't tell me to close it. God told me to keep going in a sense, but at a lesser, have like a lesser place
mm,
and allow me more time to kind of focus on, again, who I really wanted to be. So that's kind of like my two biggest times where I was like drained almost to the bottom, and people would never have known. I'm telling you, I look like $1,000,000 when I step into the courthouse. I look like $1,000,000 when I'm on, whatever stage. And I was really kind of torn between what I felt was like almost like an approved identity. And I know that's hard to imagine, but if you come from a very strict immigrant background, I think you kind of understand. You are expected to live the life your parents want. as opposed to you having that autonomy that I think a lot of my American counterparts are like, well, you grown. I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for all Caribbean parents, but I'll just tell you how them Jamaicans are. It's not
Yeah,
an easy road to say, heck, no, I don't want this.
I agree.
Anyway, sorry, but that's my
But
long, short answer.
thank you very much for being transparent. And I think someone even chat basically mentioned it too. Yeah, thank you for your transparency because there's so much to learn from your girl, your journey, and it's interesting because everyone's journey is different. But at the end of the day, it's basically growth, right? It's basically growth, and everyone has growth about it. Very quickly, I wanted to go to OG Patrice.
Hey,
Shout out
OG
to you.
Patrice, how are you?
Thank you for coming here. Thank you for showing support.
Yeah.
Hey, she had a great discussion on was it on a Black Men's Unfiltered channel, Black Men's
Oh,
Unfiltered channel,
nice, nice,
about
nice, nice, nice.
because she's working with the ADOS, but like I'm not sure if it's a political party, but it's approaching it as such with actual
Wow,
actionable and budget to talk about that. So shout out to her, and I wanted we have we have our own perspective about that, but I appreciate the work she puts in and her
that's what's
passion,
up.
and definitely respect. So salute to you, OG, and keep up the work. And thank you for coming here and supporting. And I really enjoy that conversation you were having at Black Men's Unfiltered channel. So anyone who's interested in that, go check it out. Uh, the Intentional Millionaire, Suzette Speaks, keep up
Thank
the
you.
great work. Absolutely. And the
Appreciate it.
Intentional Millionaire, too, knows one thing or two about personal growth. It's these, he had to grow his mindset first before and have the intention to become a millionaire before he actually manifests that.
That's
So
real.
now he's at a point in his life where he can comfortably say in a peaceful way. And it's a joy to me every time he has a video to say,
Ooh,
hey, I have $1 million portfolio, but he doesn't say it in a sense of bragging. It's more like in a sense of peace and the intention of going there. And that's his brand too. So he's just perfect. Definitely an inspiration to me as
nice.
well. And I thank you for your support and being the sponsor of this stream as well, sir. Shout out to Before the Billion. Thank you for coming here. I know you had
Everybody
a
else calls him BTB. I say B2B.
maybe to a B2B.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And, and thank you again for the five
Nice,
dollars super
nice.
chat. Salute to you. Very, I can relate with so much with what you said. I don't necessarily have the same route to personal growth, but just like, and that's why I ask you because for me too, I did hit a low point in my life. But for me, ever since I can remember, I was always faking. I was
Mm,
always faking it,
mm.
even in my own house. I was always the faker because I
You
feel
talking
like
about growing up or you talking about in your marriage?
uh,
I'm sorry, I
growing
know
up.
I'm not doing the questions here, but just
uh,
asking.
gr-
Ooh, never mind.
let's just say growing up, but no,
Okay.
like there was always a level of faking because um
Performative love.
no, but it's not even a fake conscious faking. It's more like I'm doing what everyone expects me to do, but deep down I feel like I don't know what it is, but it's not that. You see what I'm
And
saying?
you're saying, I feel you the same way. Like,
Yeah.
I know I don't want to be doing this, but I don't know what I want because we're not even being like trained to think about what we really want. It's almost like they
Exactly.
rob you of it a little bit, you know?
Exactly. So that's the way it was for me too. It's like, okay, I don't really know what it is, but it's not. And especially me, I was always the devil's advocate as I was growing in high school and all that. So my thoughts were entirely different with everybody else. So I was always
Mm.
I felt always like I didn't mix in, but I got good at hiding it, right?
Yeah.
Like actually, someone who called me out is my wife. She was able to see
Mm.
right through me, and I'm like,
Ooh,
that's impossible.
okay, okay, okay.
How is that possible? But yeah, she actually
Yeah,
knew me better than I knew myself when I met her.
yeah.
So,
It's a
but yeah,
good
it's
woman. Just saying. No,
and
it's true because I think a lot of us, I had to like work through that, that sense of having conditions placed on your love or
mm,
being loved. I didn't even realize that I associated those things in my mind. That
absolutely.
me only being the best stat or the top of the class or the top this. I felt like I needed that in order to be loved. I just wasn't loved. Like I couldn't put words to it, but as an adult, I could look back and say, yeah, I always felt love was conditional. I mean, I don't even think my parents intended for that, but I
Yeah.
always felt like it was conditioned on my performance. So
Mm.
that was something I had to
Yeah.
work through.
Hey, Caribbean parents definitely make you feel
Hey,
that way.
Aaron, I know
Me
what you're saying. Yeah,
oh.
exactly. Exactly.
Oh man,
Exactly.
me, at some point I just didn't care. I just do my own thing. But hey, I
Yeah.
know exactly what you mean. But yeah, I there's so much you said that you relate that I can relate to. But for me, exactly too, it was I got to a point where the real me is urging to come
Yeah,
out.
absolutely.
And it's that guy that wanted to be flamboyant. It's that guy that wanted
Yeah.
to be free and be able to do whatever he can. And I was stuck in my job too. I was a product of my own success, and I
Yes.
realized the pattern. It's like the more success I get on my job, then the
The
more
more trapped.
responsibility I'll have to stay, and then the less time I'll have. And at the same
Yes.
time, I'm working hard to get to that responsibility because that's what society and my
Tells
parents are
you
telling me to
that you
do.
need or
But
want. Yeah.
at the same time, I'm getting laid off. So as before I get to the super height that I'm working for, I get laid off, and
I
then I start all
know.
over again, and then I'm like, I get laid off, and I'm like, what's the
Mm-mm.
point, right? Just like
Exactly.
you were saying, why did you give me this diploma?
I was so mad. I
Yeah,
was so mad. I never understood. Like I kept thinking, you know how you made me, God. You know what you made me like. This
but
does not. I feel like I'm in a like a square in a round
E
like cog.
exactly.
It's
But
terrible.
everything happens for a reason, and I think that's what now you have your voice now to speak
Yeah.
to it. So that maybe you can help someone who may not who's questioning or maybe exactly where you were and they don't know where to go. That could this conversation like that could give them strength so that they can level up and be the best version of themselves, right? At the end of the
Absolutely.
day, to be the best version of yourself, you need to embrace who you truly are, and once you understand where you are, you have a foundation to work on and you can craft it to become the perfect sculpture that you need it to be. So, from that perspective, thank you for sharing your story. And very quickly, I wanted to ask you you did mention as you were starting in personal development, you
Mhm.
also kind of like had this company running. Is there
Mhm.
any books? You said that you mentioned books, podcasts. Is there anything that kind of like guide you or give you a different perspective along the way?
Um, I could go back into my Audible list. It's been so long
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that I
You
because I
did
listen to
mention
a
you
lot of
listen to
YouTube
podcasts
now.
too. I was just curious, like what like podcast you were listening. Is it
Um,
was it like Tony Robbins?
I don't like Tony Robbins. He don't
Oh
speak to
yeah,
me. Let me
why?
think. Uh,
What's wrong with Tony?
I don't think anything is wrong with him, but there's certain people that you connect with and certain people you don't. He's not one that
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't like him in that sense. I'm nothing is wrong with him,
No, I
but
get it. I
something.
get it. It's interesting
Sometimes people don't just
perspective.
agree with your spirit. I don't.
Hey,
Well, if you were talking about that, I mean, I listened to some. Is it Zig Ziglar and what is his name? Something Nightingale. Can't think of his first name.
it's like Gale at night. No.
No, not Gale at Night. He's a popular. I like older white guys. Like I'm talking about the 1920s, 30s, 40s.
Oh
I can
wow.
listen to those all the time.
Okay.
Um, I think it's Earl Nightingale is the name of one of them early on that when I would run and just listen to like how you can craft your own life. This is your life. You have permission to craft it. As
Mm.
simple as that sound, guys, that was like a breakthrough for me. And I listened to Earl Nightingale and there was another one. Um, let me just Google Earl and I'm sure other people will come up. But yeah, I'm a very which I say traditional person in a lot of ways too. So some of the which I say the traditional value people kind of just resonate with me. People who live a good, which I say, honorable life. Yeah, Earl Nightingale, American radio host and author, dealing mostly with the subject of human character development, motivation, and meaningful existence. Super. He born 1921. That's my kind of guy. I like like nothing new under the sun. Some of the deepest revelations have already been figured out. I just didn't have access to it to listen to them. So I
Mm.
started listening to like him. Who else is in that? Napoleon Hill is definitely in that as well. I don't know if you thank you, Peter. Exactly. I listened to Napoleon Hill. No, no.
Let's give his was
Jim
mentioning Le
Rohn, Zig
Brown.
Ziglar. Les Brown's okay for me. Les Brown's okay. I like.
Yes,
I'm telling you, old
this
school
guy.
white men just do it for me when it comes to personal. Like it's just a clarity of compass, moral compass,
Mm.
and character. Not because they're white. I'm just saying
No, it's okay.
the
I
clarity
get
of the
it.
time they lived in more so. The
Yeah.
time they lived in, it was just very clear as what is right, what is wrong, what is the
Mm.
value of a life. Why would you want to be in business but develop your character first? They were very clear on that. Now everybody didn't live that way,
Hmm.
but it's clear for me. I can understand them and I just take them in very well. So it's
Mm.
like old school Zig Ziglar, Jim Rome, few of these other older guys. It sounds weird, but I listen to Eric Thomas. I mean, now I love his CJ and there's podcast. I listen to his motivation. Sometimes it gets a little, I don't know, heavy. Dale Carnegie, thank you. Peter know what time it is. Peter,
Yeah, yeah,
thank you.
very insightful brother, man.
Thank you, Peter. I'm trying to think of who I listen to. I'm just like, those people helped my mind at that time in my. Thank you, Goddard. Yes. Thank you. Bring me back. 1920s, 30s, 40s, man. I get it. I get it. No, don't. I'm talking about for self development and just
Right.
mental. I don't
But
understand. Like,
at the end of
yeah,
the day, it's the result that matters.
it's
If that
but character development does not have a race. Character
exactly.
development
Yeah,
is not a
exactly.
race based
Thank
thing.
you.
I just happen to say that they're white guys, but they are older white guys.
Exactly.
But it just helped my mind. Like I
Yeah.
could hear them clear. I don't
Mm.
know. It got into me in my spirit clear from them.
Whatever resonate with you and go through and help you with the breakthrough, that's basically what you should follow. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I
exactly.
gotta unless I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna be fake
Hey,
with y'all. It
for
wasn't Tony
for
Robbins.
for me it was Tony Robbins.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
again, whatever works for you, do it. Do it, do
yeah.
it, do it.
Tony Robbins and also man Robert Kiyosaki, man.
Oh, you like Robert Kiyosaki? He's okay for
Ooh,
me. I'm
he's
not.
not even that much of a personal development
Yeah,
per se,
yeah,
but a
yeah, yeah,
lot of his teaching and
yeah,
the way he speaks, it's kind of like incorporated into his work, into his
yeah,
books. And
yeah,
basically, just by reading to it, it unlocks in two levels for me. It
yeah.
unlocks the personal development and it unlocks the financial and part at the same time. So that's why I
Yeah. So you
love
get a
his,
twofer,
yeah,
twofer.
that's why I
Yeah.
love his work. And someone else who helped me a lot, and I know he's having a lot of controversy around his
Mm-hmm.
name these days,
Yeah.
but his book really did it for me.
Who's
Dan
that?
Locke.
Who?
He's a new guy. He's actually rewrote
I'm sorry,
the.
I didn't hear it. What did you say?
His name is Dan Locke. He's a
Dan Luck.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
an
Mm-hmm.
Asian mentor online. He has like 3 million
Oh.
subscribers. But back then, I was listening to him. He didn't even have like 100,000 subscribers. But then he was more in his core. Right now, I think he
Yeah.
got greedy, and then
Oh.
yeah, he's mixed up in a lot of like a bad name. But he had a book though,
Yeah.
his book. So what it's kind of clever the way he did it
Yeah.
because Robert Kiyosaki has a template and it's like one of the most successful financial personal finance book type of thing. So he redid it in his own life, but he mixed the self image aspect of it. So from self image and control and trying to show you how the way you see yourself and unlock a self image of higher perspective and then work towards that self image. Because once you start believing in the higher self image, then now it becomes unacceptable to be where you are right now.
Who
And
teaches that? Dan Luck?
yeah, that's
That's
Dan.
deep. That's psycho cybernetics as well.
Yeah.
There's a book.
So
There's a book I read about that too.
I know.
It's,
Before the Billion has that book. It's called actually "Fu Money," but there is an
ah,
aspect, and he also has a TED talk. His TED talk
ah,
about self image is like a
yeah.
must see.
I agree with that principle. I don't even think I've mastered it yet, but I agree with that principle.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah,
How you view self,
yeah,
it's transformative.
and
It's
that's
absolutely
where
transformative.
and that's why
Mhm.
it resonates for me. It's because I was basically like being told to be fit in this box, but my mind always was the mind that wants to go big and go
Yeah.
so high. And I'm trying so hard. So basically, I'm forcing my mind to be seeing myself on a smaller image. And the
Yeah.
minute I started accepting that I'm a visionary, I
Mm.
actually unlocked my mind and I was able to see further, much further than I could. The minute
Mm.
I started seeing myself as a visionary. And then I
Ooh.
realized, oh, so that's how it works, and that's how it works. And I try to apply it in different perspective, and yeah, it was crazy. And now I applied it in finance, and the reason why I'm doing finance is actually to build my foundation so that I can create so many other ideas that I see that I want to achieve, and so on. But the minute it's the that story that the famous story about eagle who thinks he's a chicken and he doesn't think he can fly. This is my life. This is my life till I started unlocking that power of, oh my god, I am an eagle, and not just an eagle. I'm like a rocket who can go
Yeah.
to the moon. And once you start accepting that and living and seeing yourself as that, then it becomes
Help us like
unacceptable to be
that's
like,
so
I'm the
beautiful.
chicken?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Heck no.
Living below your privileges. So Dan Locke helped you to do that.
For me, yeah, for me,
Wow. That's
it was,
fantastic.
yeah. So it was
People can get that
there's a
through.
lot of similarity between him and Robert Kiyosaki because
Okay.
it's basically rewrote the same book, but there is that aspect of it, and
Yeah.
he also speaks very direct and blunt, and that's
Mm.
what does it for me. So
Mm.
both of these authors are direct and blunt, and that's the thing that works for me too. So
That's fantastic. That's
yeah,
fantastic. I was just gonna add there are people that also get that through different what should I say, self-impact techniques. I've heard women talk about getting hypnotized to do that. I have not, but I've heard all kinds of stuff just to drill it in your head, get it in your head who you truly are, and for you to see yourself that way is super important. Other people can see your potential. Other people can see who you can be. And again, I've suffered from that myself,
mm,
not able to see myself in my truest, grandest, form. That's
mm,
deep. That's very deep. But yeah,
yeah,
you can get to that also through like cognitive behavioral therapy and other therapies as well. But it's the most, I think you landed on it. One of the most critical parts of success is how you see yourself, and
absolutely.
unpacking why you don't see yourself that way.
Mm,
That's the real work.
that's
And
where
then
therapy comes in.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Actually, I never did therapy, but I'm
You
lucky
are
enough
doing
to.
therapy in a group way. That's what I
y-
realized. My
y-
sessions were like group therapy, basically. But
True, true. Yeah. Shout out to the chat. I see you guys are Robert Kiyosaki has a YouTube channel. Absolutely. Yes, man. When in
oh,
my personal
who's that?
finance journey, it was instrumental for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what is there's a lot of controversy now with what he's doing. He has a cult like following now. I know. I agree with that
What does
too.
that mean? Cult like?
Kind of what he's doing now, it's kind of like created this MLM system for his
Oh,
company,
man.
and then he really abused the YouTube system to make the most out of it, charging like $10,000 and basically using NLP techniques to like get people to get
Yeah.
25,000, 10,000, and then you get upsell. You get upsell before you even see any value. So it's like,
Jeez.
yeah,
Oh
and
boy.
it's
Help
so
us all, Lord. The character gonna be tested. The better, the more that you make, and the higher you climb. Character gonna be tested.
Oh yeah, and
Wow.
if you listen to the person that was talking in 2015, 2016,
It's
as
not
he
the same
started his
person.
channel, he was
Yeah.
actually against everything he's doing in 2018 and 19. So it's
Oh.
ridiculous. To me, it's a
Uh,
lesson. It's a life lesson to watch people grow and how basically money and influence can change them. But it's so
I'm
funny.
scared, but that's that can happen to the best of us. I would never judge a person.
Mm,
We can look here and be like, oh,
mm,
on our high perch, but no,
mm,
people, you don't know why people do what they do. But yeah, that's
exactly.
interesting to learn from it.
But
Wow.
I always say, regardless of what is currently, which is true, I agree. But I will forever be grateful for his work because of that, that's how I got my breakthrough.
No, God
Yeah,
uses all kind of people to
yeah,
deliver word. So
yeah,
you could be, in the mire and the muck, and
yeah.
God can still use you to save somebody's life. So I
Absolutely.
don't judge the messenger at all.
Do you know
Sometimes you
what?
got to focus right on the message
Do you
and
know where?
forget that the messenger is as messy as they are.
You know what? You
Help
said
us
it
all,
best.
God. But by the grace of God go I, you know?
You
So,
say it best. You say it best. Sometimes you got to focus on the message, not the messenger.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think you put it
Hmm.
to it. Shout out to you, J Bones. Thank you for the super
Yay.
sticker. Man, I'm doing this poll where everyone who super chats, I'm putting them on like a leaderboard or something.
Oh,
And
nice.
then,
Nice.
yeah, at some when I reach 10,000 subscribers, I'm preparing some sort of artwork that I want to do
Oh,
where I pay tribute to everyone who super chat. So
fantastic.
it's supposed to be a secret, but
You talking
I
about
want
every single super chat you've ever gotten?
everyone,
Ooh,
every
that's a
single one.
fantastic goal. Wow.
And I'm only going to do that till
Wow.
10,000,
Wow.
and then once I reach 10,000 subscribers, from 10,000 to 100,000, I'll try to figure out something else that is less work demanding.
Right.
But
When you
right now,
say it, when people say stuff, we don't really think about like the big, big, big.
yeah. But shout out to you, J Bones, and yeah, all these $1 super stickers, $1 super chat, I had them one by one after every
Oh
stream.
man.
So thank you very much, J Bones. I really appreciate it. Shout out to you, Trish, for real.
Yay.
And for the $5 super chat, thank
I'm
you very
definitely,
much for
definitely
your
reading it.
support. And thank you again, Gail, for basically best moderator online. Thank you very much. Let me see if I can go to the chat very quick. How are you doing? And my favorite of all time is Jesus. Absolutely.
That part,
Absolutely.
that's the that I didn't read that. Like initially, I was mad at the Bible. I was like, this can't be the way. I would tell you, I went through a whole phase. I was like,
Mm,
God betrayed me. You done
yeah.
gave me these gifts, and now you got me in the wrong place. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But
No worries.
eventually, all those other books came from the original book. So
Exactly.
just FYI.
Exactly. Me. The one word I live, one quote on this book I live by is, "Don't do unto others what you don't want them do unto you." Yeah, this to me, it's like a simple sentence. You can have an entire life living with just that. It makes it super simple, right? Once you follow that, it makes it super easy. And yeah, but yeah, thank you guys for your super chat and comments. And let me actually make sure I save you right here. Thank you, Trish. For I
Thank
gotta save it.
you. Big
I
up
gotta
Trish
save it
for
for later,
real.
so that I can
She's a
count it.
poet. She's been on my show. Yeah, she's a
Nice,
book of
really
poetry. Fantastically talented
poetry.
young lady. Yeah.
Mm,
Woo woo.
absolutely. Thank you for your support. Now let me ask you this, right?
Mhm.
Because there is a aspect of finance in my channel, right? And
Yes.
everything we do, although it's
Yes.
we can help as many people as possible, but we gotta think about the money too. What's in it? What's in the money? But let me ask you this:
Mm.
right now, what would you say? How does your personal goals from your personal development translate to actually building your wealth in the future? Like, how do you see that going for you?
Um,
Oh, is that Peale that
sorry.
I hear?
That's TLA. I missed and pressed the button. I was trying to read the chat. Sorry.
No worries, no worries.
I was trying to read the chat. My bad.
Struggle
Sorry. I
streaming
messed around and
already.
hit TLA. Sorry.
No worries, no
I'm
worries. Struggle
sorry. Sorry.
streaming
That's so
already.
unprofessional.
No worries.
Yes. Say one more time your question, please.
Yeah, basically, how does your personal goals, how do you see that translate into maybe growing your wealth, building your wealth? Maybe it will be in the future, but how do you see that happen?
It's too. This is too deep for the time we have left. But we. Oof. I find that a bit of a conundrum because
Mm,
I have my wealth that I want to build, and then I also see a vision for a family I want to build. So I don't want to like I don't deal with that vision separate and apart. I'm dealing with it almost as a part of my reality starting now, even though I'm not married and I don't have any kids yet. I feel like I need more than money flexibility. So in my vision for my life, and I think I had misspoken, or at least someone asked me something on Uncle Stu's channel the other night. And no, TLA in the building, right? It was one of his Patreon videos I had up, so I gotta watch it. But I think it was I don't know what Mixmaster somebody Mixmaster Miko, I think it was his name,
Okay.
has said to me, so you doing YouTube in order to, I think his comment was, I went back and watched this, what I do with these streams, so I'll watch this one too.
Me too.
But his comment was something to the effect of, so you're doing YouTube so you can find a husband or something like that. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think I nodded and I was like, yeah, but I was like, that's not actually true.
Yeah.
I wanted to clarify that, and I can't go back on Uncle Stu's and clarify it, so I'll clarify it here. But as a part of my vision for my life, money is not the most important thing. Money plus flexibility, and it's very hard, I think, to sometimes voice that,
Yeah.
because I think there is a narrative around, get as much money as you can as a woman. But I do think when it comes to hopefully building a family together with someone, you as a woman, money cannot be the only thing on your mind. I'm just saying. So when you
Mm.
ask me that, I feel like it's even, if you asked me that 5 years ago, I might have a whole different answer.
Oh yeah.
Get money, get money,
I
get
bet
money,
you
get
would.
money. I would have been one of those.
But let me to be fair, right?
Yeah,
The word wealth can
yeah.
be interpreted in different ways. It could be
I heard
financial
money.
wealth.
Sorry. Wealth is different. You're
It could
right.
be time. It could be time, right?
True,
Maybe
true.
could be freedom, right?
Well, let me
It
talk about the dollar
could be
first. Let me talk
health.
about the dollar. Since
Health
we're
is
wealth
wealth.
engineering, let's talk about the dollar first.
Hey, wealth
So
engineering could be whatever it is, whatever you
it's
consider
true.
wealth,
It
right?
can be very much broader, but I'm
Mm.
talking about the green. See, I got my, okay, I'm talking about the green. Yeah, so in my current exactly. I will soon. Soon, they get in my business.
Oh,
But
by the way, last week was so funny.
no, it was amazing. You guys go back and watch. I had this gentleman over on my channel on an impromptu interview because of something he said on another person's channel. I'm so glad you indulged me. I didn't know how that was going to work out, but I was like, this is what's in my spirit. This is what I see, and this is what I want to react to. And
Yeah.
then I was like, hopefully he comes over. And a couple people was like, I'll message him. I'll do this. I'll do. Did you
Yeah,
get
shout out to
anybody's
friends.
message?
Shout
Did you
out to
get anybody's message?
Friendsgiving.
Pardon?
Friendsgiving. Friendsgiving. She was the one who told me that. Yeah, you had mentioned me, and then I went to your channel
So she
straight up.
did. Yeah, she said, I'm gonna go get him. I was like, okay, I didn't know y'all knew each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then as soon as she said that, I went with your channel. But I was talking about something else that happened last week. It was just so funny because that's when the first time I heard your patois, and I was in my office. I
Oh,
was in my office laughing. If you look, how about this, J Bones? If you want to hear a patois, go check out her stream last week, and I put it
yes.
towards the end. She really
Yes. I
was
was in
the
the zone.
whole genuine Susan speak, and that patois got out.
Listen, no, that even that code switch, it for me is a part of just being me. Because when I felt like I had to be a representative of me and those things, people who really know me know that I code switch when I talk. That's like a
Mm,
normal part of me if you're my real friend, right?
yeah.
Like the people I grow up with, my cousins and stuff, just know that I'll go in my bro. That's just how I think in patois,
Mm,
oftentimes. So, in order to fit into kind of like, the corporate setting, I felt like I couldn't be that. And I had to shut that off. And I said, God, if I'm coming in this space, I gotta come 100. I
mhm,
can't, I don't want to be a representative of myself of myself again in
mm.
anything that I'm doing. And of course you keep a level of professional and that goes with the territory. But just as a whole, I found that I was like, do I express itself? There are people that know me in South Florida never knew I was Jamaican. But they're not my friends. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it just depends. So people are like, you Jamaican? I'm like, yeah, like 100, not even like a little bit. But to your question about wealth.
Yeah, and then something you said that you wanted to clarify, you can
Oh yeah. So I was gonna say it actually ties in. It ties into that question because I was like, to find is not what I'm here for. To create opportunity for flexible um monetary gain is what I'm here for.
okay.
In terms of wealth creation that can fit within a family. That's why I thought this was a good move for me. Taking up another, what should I say, high powered like job or going into, people are like, you want to move to DC? There's jobs there. You want to do this? You want to do that? There was so much that, particularly after the campaign, that swirled in my mind about what I want to do. But again, who you want to be and the goals that you want to maintain, um, for yourself, again, may not align with what other people think you should be and want. Let's put it like that.
Absolutely.
So yes, it could definitely be health to B2B. I'm sorry, I take it as a literal money. But I think that, oh, thanks, sis. I think that trying to develop my wealth plan has really changed because I'm trying to develop my family plan at the same
Mm,
time. I guess is the way I want to just kind of like put this. Like the plan is now the wealth for me now would be legacy. That would be
mm,
wealth.
mm.
Wealth for me, y'all don't like the word, would be partnership.
So I hear generational wealth in basically
If
your
I'm
goal.
making all this money and I ain't got nobody to pass it to, what we doing? Like
Mm,
what we doing?
what
That's
we're
like
doing
where I
indeed.
am.
I see,
So
man. It's
my
funny.
niece, my niece gonna be very rich because her daddy gonna set her up and I'm gonna set her up too. But it
I,
would help if we had more generation to pass it to.
I was literally having this conversation with my wife this morning.
Yeah.
Exact word for it. Word for it. So that's so interesting you said that.
And again, not a knock to people who can't have kids, choose not to have kids, don't want family, may have had a divorce, all that. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes when what you want does not align with what other people want, you people
Mm,
think you are judging what they are or what they
mm.
have or what they want.
Or are they
That's not it.
judging you?
Yeah,
Or
and
they are
vice
not.
versa, vice
Man,
versa.
sure.
Because if family does not happen for me, I'm still gonna be good. I'm still hopefully gonna fulfill whatever purpose I'm thinking God wants me to fulfill. But I
Yeah.
do hear that as a purpose in my mind. I don't know that I had the full vision for it though. That's one thing I think that vision, I'm like trying to see it more and more. I don't see it firmly. I see it kind of in a that's the one thing I see kind of abstract as a person
Mm.
as opposed to firm, which is
Don't worry.
scary to me.
It will come. It will come to you. Just
Usually I
keep
can see
thinking
it
about
like,
it. Keep thinking
um,
about it, and eventually something will trigger, and you'll see it very clear. Don't worry about
well,
that.
I hope so, praise God.
Yeah.
I hope
Don't
so.
worry
I'm
about
like, I
it.
see it, but I don't
Patience.
see it how I
Patience.
see everything else.
Patience, patience. But again,
Yeah.
trust me, there are a couple of things I can talk about, and I can help you. I can shortcut and make it see it clearly.
Mm.
But I know you said that you only have a couple of minutes, and we're
I
gonna
mean,
wrap it.
we could read some, I don't want to touch the chat because it might be TLA.
No, no,
But
no, no.
I
But
can, if you have questions in the chat or feedback from the
yeah,
chat, I'm
if you have any
down.
questions, now is the time you can ask. But very quickly, I wanted to go through some comments too. But
Mhm.
I find this was so funny because when you were talking about, that's something that happened in the stream. Surprise, guys! If you want to know, go check her channel, subscribe, and definitely check that. But she's like, and when you said that, oh, GC was, wealth engineering was coming back. That, oh, but
A little
I
bit, a
was
little bit, a little
laughing. I
bit.
was laughing my head off in
Oh
my
my
office. There
goodness.
was a time I was laughing so much, especially when Friendsgiving was competing. I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so much. And to me,
No.
I'm so grateful for Jonathan Baronville because he's the one who taught me basically how to have fun while giving or giving to people, right? But by donation. And this is a lesson I'll never forget because to me, working hard but giving back also to people you want to support, to content creators, to anyone in general, regardless of what you do, it's okay to build that money, but if you can funnel also part of that. I had a project where I wanted to be so good in terms of my wealth that I could do everything I wanted with only 30% of my income, and
Mm.
then give away the 70%. I call it Project 7030. And yeah, so I'm not at that level yet, but
I was about to say
I'm
you doing
happy.
something, brother. That's listen. If y'all don't know what he's talking about, this man definitely changed my YouTube career already. I think it was last Thursday's stream. I can't even remember the title,
Yeah.
but go back and watch that, guys. Wealth engineering is added in the title of that stream. But it was a Tiffany Haddish stream. Was it a
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish show?
Yeah, yeah, it
I
was,
try
it was.
to kind of start with Tiffany Haddish as kind of like a a hook on choices that we make that we regret. That was the theme of the show:
Yeah.
choices that we make that we regret. So Tiffany Haddish is on the thumbnail. But in that discussion, this gentleman just went crazy in a beautiful way.
You can keep it. Say they'll
Go
have to
back
go
and watch
watch
it.
it.
Go back and watch it. Go
Go
back
back
and
and
it
watch
just
it.
blew my mind. Honestly, I almost cried. I almost choked. I didn't like that.
Let's just say the part where it came out.
Go back and watch it. Choices We Regret. That's, I think, the name of the show on my channel.
Yeah,
Fantastic show. Thanks to this brother right here.
yeah.
Don't
No
let me
worries,
don't
no
let me
worries, no
get
worries.
too.
No, no worries, no worries. All right, let
Teresa,
me go
she
through the
thinks in
chat.
patois. Exactly. People don't understand. I think in patois.
Yes. Oh wow. Still, eh?
Hmm.
Still. Me. It's now I got to a point now where I actually take in English. But
That
there
means
was a
you
time.
losing it.
There was a time I used to think in Creole and French. Now I'm. Well, it's because I speak English with my wife since I met
Ah,
her in like 19. So now it
ah.
becomes.
Do your kids know Creole?
I mean, my kid is like he's like 13 months. He's
Oh,
turning
it's a baby, baby, baby.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, never
So
mind.
oh, don't worry, don't worry.
Make sure
He'll
you
know
pass it
Creole.
along, man. We don't want to lose culture, bro.
Oh,
It's
he'll
important.
know Creole. That's
Ah,
you can bet on that.
when I
Uh,
took advanced IB Spanish, I was thinking in Spanish. That's how I knew. I was like, this is crazy. Yeah,
right, yeah. All
I
right,
was
guys,
really
let me go through the chat very
upset.
quick. And I do have one more. Yes, I love supporting other content creators too. Yeah, me too. And we need to get you monetized so that I can start super chatting, Mr. Before the
Yes,
Billion.
before the billions is like 600 hours away or something like that. We could, almost there, almost there.
I can relate with that before the billion.
Oh, as soon as I get that super chat from YouTube, I'll be redistributing some of it.
That's so fun. No, 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 no. Don't do that. You gotta when you give, you have to allow yourself to receive because
Mm,
that there is a problem because if you give too much, you don't allow yourself to receive. It creates an imbalance, which
mm,
will lead to an implosion at some point. So yeah, you
mm.
really you and it also for the person who are giving, you have to allow them to
Be the
that outlet.
blessing. I hear you.
Yeah, trust
I
me.
hear
So
you.
it's literally a dance and don't feel that you are obligated to give it back
I
more and more.
give when my spirit tell me. I'm not
Exactly.
big on like, okay, I ask myself, I'm like, why are you want to do this? Is it because you see other people doing it? Is this a genuine this? But then I hear clearly, give this. I do that. I respond to it.
And very quickly, I'm going to go to a last point before we close the stream. But I always do this with my audience, guys. You know, now you're going to assist me as I do this, guys. Let me look at you in the eyes as I lay it down on you. I'm going to talk about how to think and grow wealthy and couple steps along the way that we can basically grow wealthy, right? Because hey, there is this book called How to Think and Grow Rich. I
Yep.
kind of like put add my own thing to it. You know, wealth engineering.
Napoleon Hill.
We got to think about wealth, and wealth can be in many aspects, not just money. It could be time, it could be health, right? Relationship, building your relationship with people. Some people they have lots of money but they have zero relationship and on their deathbed they have no one to come visiting them, right? So that's we want to try to have an equal balance in all aspect of wealth, whether it's time, relationship, health, and of course financial that will allow you to guide to all that. So a couple things I wanted to be clear. If as you want to be wealthy, you got to be clear about what you want. Now I know it sounds simple, but it can take a very long time to have clarity. And I think Suzette speak, you can definitely relate with that, and I'll let you chime in later. But
Hmm.
yeah, clarity is it's important. And couple things you need to that can help you is personal development, personal test, personality test. It can really help you understand who you are, and once you understand and embrace who you are, it becomes a lot clearer to it becomes a lot you can see who you are a lot clearer and where you want to go. And also be honest about the work it's going to take to get where you want to go. All right. So once you know who you are and then you see where you want to go, be honest about the work that you're going to have to put in. And you need to evaluate, can you handle that work? Right. Me, honestly, I want to have a private jet one day. Right. But I have to ask myself, can I handle the work that's going to take to own a private jet? And I want the private jet so much. I'm like, yes, I can take it. Right? That's the way I see it. But everyone has different goals. Everyone has different scopes. But you need to. What I'm trying to say is be reasonable with what you with you yourself. Right? I'm not saying don't think of crazy dreams, but be reasonable in the amount of work that you're willing to put. Me, for example, I'm okay with putting 100 hours a week towards my goals. Right? And if I need to put 120, then I'll do. Right? I'll find the time. Whether whether it's possible or not, I'll find a way. Right? So that's me. You gotta be know exactly who you are, embrace it. What are your goals? Be honest with where you want to be, and change your self image. That's the thing I was talking earlier about dying luck. You need to change your self image so that it matches who you see yourself becoming. As you're growing into the best version of yourself, you need to adjust your self image so that you see yourself becoming that person already. And at that moment, you every action, everything that you're thinking about becomes automatically from that perspective, and that's how you are intentionally growing to the best version of yourself, right? So couple that's one of the couple things I wanted to mention. I also wanted to add very quickly, you got to develop the discipline, because it's things that are very simple, but it's not easy, especially to stay disciplined and stay consistent and working on those goals. You may do it 1 month and you realize, man, there is so much work, I give up, right? So once you see yourself and you know who you truly want, you got to stay disciplined along that path to keep going at it. And but you need to grow as a person, maturity, right, ethically, so that you can handle the new wealth that you're going to acquire. Because sometimes, guys, you may not get the money because you're not ready to receive it, to be honest with you, because it might serves you, it might be a bad thing to act you actually get that money. And to be honest with you guys, when I was 25, if I was wealthy, I would probably be dead right now, to be honest with you guys,
I'd
because I
definitely
was
be a
not
mother.
I, I was not mature enough to
No.
handle that type of money, and
Mm.
because of my immaturity, I didn't do the discipline. I didn't have the right mindset and have the discipline to build wealth, and that's why I didn't have it. Right, so it works hands in hands, right? So you have to grow and be mature, and not necessarily mature as a kid who's doing immature things. I'm talking about as you grow, you're becoming more mature, more wise, to be able to handle that, because otherwise that type of money will crumble you. Money is an amplifier, right? So whatever you have going on here, if you have a bad life going on here, well, money is going to amplify that bad life and it's going to destroy you. But if you are a good person at heart, money is only going to amplify that and be the best version of yourself so that others can see it. So these are my couple points I wanted to mention very quick: how to think and grow wealthy, and basically, what do you think so far about that, Susan? Do you want to chime in? Is
I
there
feel like I gotta
anything?
get off the screen. You had some wow. Thank you, Trish, for real. Let me know. Another person that I listened to was Norman Vincent Peale.
Mm,
Huge. Thank you, darling. I'm like, I know these names, but it's like I couldn't remember them. Norman Vincent Peale is
thank you.
also very good. You are on point. I don't feel like I needed to add a thing to that when it comes to the self-image piece. I was like, "Ooh, maybe we could dig a little deeper on the Patreon when you come over on that,"
Hey, no worries.
because I think people don't know how to change their own self-image. I
Mm,
think our self-image is oftentimes foisted upon us, and we have not kind of reprogrammed, kind of emptied out the old programming and really understand how to input the new programming,
hmm,
so that we start to really see our full potential. I think that might be a good topic for our Patreon when you come over. But yeah, I think what you're saying is just you're reminding me. I feel like I can't even add nothing, that discipline piece. Are you really ready? Will it destroy you if you got what you prayed for? Some of us, are not even self-aware yet to know, yes, it probably would. That's why we probably don't have it. Thank you, God. But I do think, I love the name Intentional Millionaire. Even seeing that name in all the chats has had me think, how intentional am I? Do I have the tools, or do I really have the financial plan I ought to have? I've invested, you got your Roths, you got your 401k, you have your this, you have your that. Speaking of, um, but how much more intentional, especially, praise God, if we get as successful on YouTube as we hope to. I hope to be having had a business, having had these ups and downs. I'm a much better steward of my resources than when I started out and I was making money and I was just like, I didn't know where my money went. My money was in my
mm,
tummy. My money was going to random frivolous spending. But I'm grateful for those, like you, like calling them your life lessons. Hopefully we get the lessons, and not just see the experiences as like, oh, that was, bad or good, but okay, what was the lesson there? So I think, what you've said is just, put a beautiful bow on the conversation, understanding, who you truly should be. Thank you, Gail. Big up Gail at night, fantastic content creator. And yeah, and build outward, inward, outward, money
Mm,
wise, personal development wise. Because if you don't even think you should have it, you will lose it. If you don't see yourself as even being worthy of having it, you will lose it.
absolutely.
Right? There's so much tied to your vision of yourself, your image, that could cause lots of unanticipated problems if money and when money and other forms of wealth, let's
Mm,
say, comes into your sphere. If you haven't dealt with the internal stuff, it can always, have that impact, negative
absolutely.
impact. So I love your I can't wait to go to try some of this personality test. I thought we were gonna do one here. I thought I was like, oh, we're gonna
Well, I
do
know
it.
how comfortable you are, but maybe we could do that on on your Patreon.
I was like,
But
oh, that
but
might be
uh,
good.
but
Yeah, let's
we can
go.
talk offline after. But very
Sure,
quickly,
sure,
I
sure,
wanted to
sure.
give a shout out to Doug.
Thanks,
Thank you for
Doug. Big
coming
up,
here.
Doug. That's my people.
Oh, nice, nice. Thank you for coming here. I'm like, I don't
Thank
remember seeing you
you.
before, but really appreciate the $5 super chat and thank you for the comment. Great stream as well.
Thank
Now,
you.
as we wrap up this stream, one last question I have for you before we wrap up is now with all this growth that you have, what would you give as an advice to your younger self? Let's say you were 15, let's say you were 20, or I mean, all with the knowledge you have now. If you could talk to your younger self, what would you say to that person as I go through the chat as well as you thinking from that answer. But RM, thank you again for dropping the link
Yay. Big up
here.
RM. Woo woo. That's my
Yes,
girl.
thank you very much, very much. No worries. We truly appreciate it, Doug. Truly appreciate it. And yes, what would you say to your younger self? And I know we cover a lot. I know we cover about be let yourself be free, right? Don't your true self will come out.
Chase the real you.
Yes.
That was my whole theme. Yeah, I would say two things: patience. Success takes time. I think this overly microwavable success that we see, a very few have, and
Micro.
now have the expectation of the children being 19-year-old millionaires. I mean, great. If your mom started you on YouTube at 5, okay, maybe you would be a billionaire, but not everybody's parents do that, and not most everyone will not have that type of success. So I think feeling like I was behind was always a theme for me. um Trust the process. Yeah, that's definitely true, Aaron. Very good. I definitely would agree with you. So be patient, that success takes time.
Mm,
um just run your own race. I think I again, my social pressure, my familial pressure, um any externalized pressure that I experienced, you know really had an impact on me and my choices. So I think if you, and I think that's why I love the Zennials or whatever, because they don't feel it. They be like, what? You want me to what? Their parents raised them differently.
mm,
So I think if I knew that, God, I'd try not to go back because I'm like, this could go make you go crazy. Like thinking, like, what would I have done if I actually felt empowered to just say, I don't want to do this. I want to do that. Like, I don't know, but I wasn't supposed to be. So I do think though, I would say you have to really run your own race outside of the expectations of others.
mm.
And yeah, I think you would be happier. You would be much, much more quick. I would say quicker, but I think it would have, for me, had me avoid some of those valleys. And maybe again, it's a good thing I had those valleys because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now.
Everything
So
happens
everything
for a
has its
reason.
purpose. But if you ask me what I wish I known, it
Hmm.
would be that you have to run your own race, babe, not a race for anybody else. Because people will make you feel like you should run a race for them, and that's not healthy. And again, it's you know what's inside you. Only you know what God gave you, truly. So understanding that my race might be very different, no one will maybe understand it,
Hmm.
and I would just have to just trust it. But I think my race is still very good now. But I just think earlier, I wish, just for the heartache, I could understand that you're not crazy, you're just different.
Absolutely. Right on target. Thank you for this R&B. And very quickly, there you have it, guys. We're going to wrap it up. But very quickly, I'm going to go to the chat. I think we read that earlier. For me, I would say to my younger self, even though I'm already young, yeah, he is young. He's actually the zillennials.
Ah,
I like this. Is focusing all already. If I could do that at his age, I would be
didn't have
well
no
over.
awareness of that.
Oh, yeah. Trust the
Just listen to
process
your
and
parents.
true.
That's what I got.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to your R&B. And yeah, before the billion, I wish I could have started earlier, but I wouldn't have anything to say on YouTube. You know what? I feel the exact same way. I wish I could start earlier, but I didn't develop the wisdom yet to
Yeah,
actually have anything to say of substance. So, but hey, you
same
never know.
here.
Some people change their brain along the way, and that could have worked too. Shout out to you again, J Bones. Thank you very much. Suzette Speaks.
Ghana in the
Some
building,
part,
bro. Jay Bones, I didn't know he was from Ghana.
yeah.
I don't know what to say.
I
It don't
he
work
really
like that,
wanted
Jay
that.
Bones. It just gotta be the
That's the second
conversation.
time, and he even super
I
chatted.
know, and he gave me a super chat. I don't know. I just want to say, I don't
How
know
about
what to
you read?
say.
How about you read that his comment in background?
Jay Bones, I didn't know you were from Ghana. First and foremost, A or B. I'm not even sure. Oh, there was something that you said that triggered a song. I could probably give you a little song. Oh, they were just you just said so much though. I forgot the song. What
Sorry, sorry.
when you were saying be yourself. Geez, there was a Jamaican song that came up in my head. Let me think about it. You can do your thank yous. There was a Jamaican song
No,
that came in my head
no
because
worries,
I have
no
a little
worries.
bit of Broadway Tourette's. Like things people say automatically trigger songs in my head.
Broadway
So,
Tourette's.
oh my goodness.
And,
There was a song that I was like, oh, I can't wait to go listen to it, and I can't remember it. J
no
Bones,
worries.
if I remember it, I'm gonna sing you a little bit of it so you can get your fix.
All right.
Oh
Fix.
my gosh, you said so much.
Don't worry, don't worry. Let me go through very quickly.
Mm,
Excellent work, great content, very much. We here, yes, yes. These guys,
yay.
wow, thank you again. The
Thank
Uzia show.
you.
Go check out his channel, guys. Great content creator. He's been on YouTube for a while, but also his voice, guys. Man, these
Oh.
man, me, I have something with voice. I don't know. I don't know. So sometimes I hear a voice and I can tell there is someone like it's I don't sometimes they say you can look at someone's soul by looking
Mm,
at their eyes. I can do that with eyes. I can also do that with voice. And
mm.
this brother's voice, there is something about it that there's also Candid Anne. This Candid Anne and Uziel's,
Her voice is soothing. I was
yes,
listening to her last night explain her story on Before the Billions. I was like, yes, sis, yes.
yes.
Her
So
voice is just, ooh, melts
So
you.
the Uzia show is from the male side, and Candid Anne is from the female side. But both of these people have very soothing voice, and there's
Yes.
something about their voice to me that I
Hmm.
don't know what it is yet, but I feel like I can trust them.
Yeah.
I feel like they're actually for they have this healing aspect in their
Yeah.
voice,
But that's a
and
God's gift. Some you can't teach that. That's a God's gift.
yeah.
That's like I think something you're given.
So shout out to you, sir, and thank you again for your super chat earlier. And before the billion, Patwa, please come on, let's put it on. Hey,
Why
hey,
I can't remember the
how
song
about this?
them?
How
I
about
can't.
this? I have an idea. I see
Okay.
this quote behind you. Wait a second. Let me see. Oh
Oh, the
no.
quote.
Would you be able to read that with
But
Patwa?
it
Is that
doesn't sound. It's better if it's conversational. All
yeah?
right. Oh my God, that sounds so Jamaican. That sounds so. Oh, I'd rather sing a song, but
I think at this point, anything you give them, they'll
no,
take it.
no. Okay. I'm trying to think of a saying my mom would say to me or something that would make more sense. But
Go clean your room.
no, right. I'm like trying to think about like something that would apply right now that my grandma would say or something like this. Mm, Trying to think of an old time saying. Give me one second. Give me a second.
No worries,
You're
no worries.
Ashanti. Cool. Very nice.
Shantikis.
Yeah, a lot of Ghanaian blood is in Jamaica. A lot of us came from Ghana, Nigeria as well.
Mm.
Yay, and we're very similar. A lot of the
Oh yeah,
cultures like survived. Big up
yeah.
yourself, J Bones.
Actually, I was able to retrace a side of my dad's side
Yeah,
from Senegal.
yeah.
Apparently, there is this section in the Senegal that produce tall people, like
Are
above
you
six
one of
feet.
them? How tall are you?
And then, I mean, I'm average for my family, but basically 6 feet. And then, yeah, with my dad's side, people are like, where even the women too, they're all like, but they come
Oh,
from a specific area in the Senegal. And yeah, according to the trade, that's where my dad's family all come from. So I'm tracing that, and it's
oh wow.
interesting, very interesting.
Have you been
Yes,
to Africa before?
look. I think in the next 2 years it will be a must.
I have to. I've
Uh,
gone to South Africa, but I want to go to other parts. I want to go to West Africa
Yeah,
for
I'm
sure, for
actually
sure.
trying to transition so that I can do business remotely online and use that as an income so that
Yeah.
I can literally go travel for to find business opportunities.
Mm.
Something about Africa is calling me. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, I wouldn't that wouldn't be my choice. I would have chose somewhere else, but I've met random people along the way that just kind of like it seems like all roads are leading me there. So I have to
Mm.
listen to that call and go. And then, so basically, what I'm doing right now is structure my life in a way to go there. I don't know what I'm going to find. I don't know, but I feel like whenever I get there, if I give enough time, I'll find it.
All
But
right,
I think
ready?
whatever I'm
So
going
just
to,
listen to your spirit, open your mind, elevate your self image, and then follow your heart. Oh yeah, that's it. Whatever. I can't do it like on demand, guys. Come on, guys.
Lord,
It has to be
hey,
more of a conversation.
that was awesome, Patwa. That was
Y'all
awesome.
crazy. Y'all crazy.
That was awesome, Patwa. All
Love
right,
the
all right.
way I yeah, okay. I rushed through my stream. I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all about this real quick. This was like my rushing evening. I'm so hungry too, babe. It's too late, but I'm hungry.
Yeah, no worries. Let me wrap it up very quickly. But man, more super chats are coming in. So,
Uh-oh.
the Uzia show $10 super
Yay!
chat.
I'm gonna come follow you.
Gotta
You
throw
say
another super chat
Uzia?
for all the
How you say
love.
that? Uzziah?
Yes, to be honest, I'm probably crucifying his name.
All
I
right, let
don't
me
know how
find
to
it.
say it,
And then I'll
but
see how he says it.
thank you very much. But all I know is he
Ooh,
has a great voice, and I remember his voice every time. Every time I actually go in his
nice.
channels so often to check up this brother. So shout out! I love his work. Love his work, and he actually dropped a very good stream earlier this week. So go check it out,
I
guys. Go check it
will.
out. Yeah, we're all working towards the same goal, bringing the knowledge of building wealth to the community because I believe that's how we go to the next step. Right, that's how we make for lost times. We have to for our parents. Suzette speaks basically force us on academic education, right?
Yep.
Academic education. Now we have to do the work so that we do the financial education, right?
Amen.
And then if we do that, then our next generation can just build on what the previous generation have done and really scale it and go to the next step, right? And maybe that's where Africa comes in. Maybe that's where we start
Mm.
investing.
Wouldn't it be wonderful to have that full circle? Oh my Jesus.
Exactly,
God
exactly.
is not asleep. That's all I
So
know.
again, I'm sorry, my brother, if I'm crucified. I'm French with Creole, so I maybe one day we'll practice that name
I
until I
think
get
it's
it right. But
Uzziah. I think it's from the Bible.
yeah,
King
it's
Uzziah. I think it's from the Bible.
those last name with a h.
Yeah.
Those are actually angelic names.
Mm.
So interesting.
Can I give you
So
the final Jeopardy
wait,
question?
wait,
Subscribe
very quickly. I
before I
gotta
go
give a
bye.
shout out to my
Hey, Friendsgiving! Woo!
Friendsgiving. Salute to your fantastic show, JC and Suzette. And
Yay!
yes, me and Friendsgiving, we gotta meet one day.
I
I gotta meet
know.
Friendsgiving one day and have a discussion because she's so funny. And thank you very much for your super chat. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe you are yes, you are.
Sponsor?
You are the sponsor of the stream. Last minute Raleigh made it there. Uh, I had to go for the win. Very
Yeah, no,
competitive,
she like to be beat. Yay, Friendsgiving! Big up yourself.
very competitive super chatter. But again, JB, Suzette's giving, they're all encouraging me to do exactly that. Find ways to give back to the community and just have fun along the way. It was last I was talking earlier, Friendsgiving, how much fun I had in Suzette's channel last week with you, and that was your comments about the wealth engineers.
Oh
I
man,
couldn't read. I was reading this and I was
I
holding
was
my
choked.
stomach trying to capture air. That was so funny, guys. So if you guys don't know, go check out Suzette Speak
On the
channel.
Tiffany Haddish show. That's the Tiffany Haddish show. Best show yet.
Yes, put it towards the end, and yeah, you're
Yes.
going to see what we're talking about. All
Woo.
right, guys, I really have to wrap it up. I will
Okay.
have to respect Suzette's time. We already went past the budget time we had, but thank you everyone who super chatted for your comments, and I hope you took some value out of this content. Suzette, please stay on the back, and after
Yeah,
I close
sure.
it, we'll talk. We'll debrief very quick, but. With that said, guys, make sure you tune in for my other stream on Sunday. I'm going to invite Lashish Journeys to talk about her journey on how she was able to quit her job, which was a low income job, and build a real estate empire along the way, right? So
Wow.
there is so much knowledge we can learn from her journey, and stories like that needs to be told, because if she can do it, everybody can do it. There is no excuse, right? And we remember I said earlier how to think and grow wealthy, applied all these techniques. Think, see yourself on who you want to become, have the discipline, be honest with the work you want to do, and go out there and start your journey. All right. With that said, guys, thank you very much. And it could make sure you connect to Suzette Speed channel, subscribe, and help me say thank you again. Any last words before we go, Suzette?
No, hit the like button. Thank y'all for hanging with us. Hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. It was fun. Thank you so much for the invitation.
All right. All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, JC, bring that fire, mentally taking you higher. Get the cash flow that you desire, building that wealth. I should call you sire. You about to run it, I know it. We steady growing, this is the moment. You gotta subscribe, cause you don't wanna miss it. Wealth engineering, it's time to get it. Wealth engineering, stacking and stacking it up. It's time to generate wealth, till you living like Scrooge McDuck. Hey, wealth engineering, it's time to show you the game. Till you living like Richie Rich, till you ballin' like Bruce Wayne. Hey.